All right. Okay, so we're just going to do a short Q&A. I see 16 people are already here. Um, I'm absolutely exhausted with after graduation. And graduation is a good thing. I like to see the students, getting credit for having completed things and going on in life and being able to do, to have their family be able to appreciate them and that kind of thing. But I'm just absolutely I feel like I'm dumber just sitting for that long. I'm tired. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let's see if I can raise that a little bit. What we're going to do is I'm going to try to take your questions rather than do a weekly recap because I think you're all going to have certain questions. So I'm just going to look through and see whatever you have to say and just try to address that. We'll do it for 20, 25 minutes, something along those lines, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so let me look at this. Hello, Prof. From a psychological point of view, what do you say about Prigozhin after seeing the outburst in rage? I think Prigozhin is a narcissist, and I'm not a clinical psychologist, but he is. I think you can't be occupying his position doing what you're doing without having some kind of something, narcissism or Machiavellianism or something. And I know enough about that to be dangerous. That he is something is not right there, and he's fighting, he's vying for power, and I think that's where we are with that. And I think that's wonderful that he's vying for power because it's going to it's going to make the military in Russia even more inefficient. Prigozhin is losing control. He's in panic. Now, there also could be that this is a feint, right? It is possible that he's saying we're going to pull out of Bakhmut and it's just a trick. So I'd be very careful with that. Is Prigozhin losing control? He's in panic. Did he already decide to die? Hello from sunny Florida. Hello, hello, hello. You're freezing from Germany. Probably a sociopath. Yeah, maybe a sociopath. I don't know exactly what he is. Put your comments into the chat right now. Normally, I go through the week's events, but the week's events are basically the oil tank being hit by a drone, and then what happened with the drone in the Kremlin. I can't imagine anybody wants to talk about anything else other than that. But tell me what you think. When I looked at this, I thought, whoa, okay, but that drone, how would it have been able to get from Ukraine? So immediately I'm thinking, not Ukraine, maybe a local. That's my first thought. Then I started thinking, well, maybe it's a false flag operation. And the two leading theories seem to be false flag, and that is ISW says false flag, and then there is hello to my sister, and then there's the ISW says false flag, and then the like people that I think very highly of, like Anders Puck Nielsen, had a great video about how Russian false flag generally looks like this, but it doesn't look like a false flag. It looks like maybe there's partisans. Now, partisans can come in a couple of forms. It could be Ukrainian partisans. It could be Russian partisans who are against the war. It could be FSB kind of stuff. I mean, it could be something, all kinds of things. Oligarchs working against, I don't know what it is. So, yeah. Okay, let me get back to your questions. Thanks and hello from, I don't know where that is. Armcherry, ARMCHAIRE. I'm not sure where that is. Loudmouth Rudy says, let's discuss the weather. I'm not sure why. Cheryl says hello. Old Foggy says, afternoon, nerdy professor. He calls me that after I put that in my video saying nerdy professor with an arrow pointing at me. Where is your costume? My costume, it's actually called Regalia, is right here. I still have it. It's sitting on the chair behind me. Does this help some? Anyway, any further conclusions regarding the claims about the drone attacks against everything Russia? I don't know what to make of it. What I can do is give you a menu of the options and try to help you think through it, but I can't give you a conclusion because I don't have evidence that gives me enough to give conclusions. Although I lean a particular way, but I don't want you to go with my leanings. I want you to go with assembling facts. And you all have been very helpful in helping me assemble facts. So we're learning together. Yuri says, hello, Professor. What are your thoughts on the Western support and overall situation if the Ukrainian offensive will not deliver as impressive results as it's pressured to? That is, Yuri, that is an incredibly insightful Um, Observation or thought. So I'm sitting at graduation with a history professor, and in the dispassionate way that a good history professor should be doing it, I was asking, I said, please help me. I'm dying. I'm so bored. Please say something smart or useful. So we got on the topic of Ukraine and Russia, and his perception was it's going to be a far longer war. Russia can endure for a long time, and he wasn't making a partisan point, right? He wasn't like trying to like be all in for Russia, but and I think there's something to that. I think Russia can endure a lot of pain, and they probably will endure a lot of pain, and there's no reason not to go on. Now, what we got to is that Putin, and we agreed on this, that Putin's great plan right now is to endure until the Western partners fall off. This is why it's so urgent that you all are paying attention, that you help others pay attention, because if Western partners fall off, Putin wins. With Western partners, Putin loses. But it's just a matter of time to see who can endure the pain. Allison said, Sherry, are you really his sister? He's starting to rock. Um, uh, yes, Sherry is my sister, and I'm her, as she would describe, big little brother. Okay. What do you say about Iran's support for Russia with both weapons and even their own troops? Also, I missed Finland's admission to NATO a month ago. What do you think about that? I think Finland's admission is absolutely wonderful. They were talking about having a NATO or even US base in Finland right on the edge of Russia, which, I mean, if I was Putin, I'd be going absolutely nuts about that. I think and this is only facetious, but I think it would be make a profound statement to set up a U.S. base in Odessa, right across from there, or NATO base or something along those lines. By the way, I have a video of the consul general from Poland, and he's consul general in New York, and we just shot it. It'll be up on Monday, where he was talking about this. Is like, look, it makes sense to put stuff as far eastern in Poland as possible. We're at the edge of the spear right now, and by extension, doing that into Ukraine would also be something for NATO troops. And we got into that conversation, but that's just a preview for what you'll see on Monday. Okay, where's the next? Ian Ho says, what do you say about Iran's support for Russia with both weapons and even their own? Oh, we just talked about that. Old Foggy said, paying attention to the circumstances, logical conclusions have been deducted. Wondered where I stood. Yeah, if we're still talking about the drone, I can't say. I mean, I'm unwilling to say until I have evidence, even though I have an inclination one way or another. You're loving, Allison said, I'm loving the blue and yellow light setup. I was trying to improve it, and it's just a blue bulb and a light bulb, blue light bulb and a yellow light bulb. That's all it is, but it kind of looks nice, I think. I hope. Okay, Pure Water Black says, hit that like button. It helps. Oh yes, please. If you're here and you can hit the like button, that helps. And again, our whole thing, we're just trying to get this attention out so that people are paying attention, because the regular media isn't. They got excited about the Johnny Depp trial and lost interest. Fletter Mouse says, what do you think needs to be done to reinstate confidence in the global South into the West? Yeah, Russia's really working on the global South, so there's something there. It seems to me that the positions of China, India, and Russia are more audible than the Western. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there is a real deficit there, and there's not as Russia's doing a better job marketing to them than the West is. In fact, you'll see like an Indian newspaper will just cut and paste RT. I've showed you that in videos before. They'll just cut and paste the same. I cut and paste the RT thing, Google it, and then you see it in an Indian paper or an Arab paper or something in Africa. You just see it again and again, and it's very sad. Okay, next, how much can we or Ukraine reasonably do to disrupt the oil economy? You can't. I mean, yeah, you can a little bit, but there's not as much as what you would like to do. Now, what China does will be really telling, and China has backed away from being helpful, but they still want their oil. India's taking it hand over fist. Brazil's taking it, so it's not as easy. Germany finally got off the dole and is getting clean because they were like an addict, and Nord Stream 2 was exactly designed to do that, to keep Germany out of the fight or out of support. Uh, Old Foggy says, I would love to see the main naval Crimea base become a joint NATO US Ukraine base when it's over. Wow, that would be quite a shift. And that would just destroy Russia's ambitions, because this is their warm water port on this side of the world, right? I mean, they can still get out through the Pacific, but otherwise they can be frozen over by St. Petersburg. So that's actually quite something. Okay, if you're listening and you have questions, or you want to suggest something about, say, the drone and missile, or in Moscow or whatever, do that now, because we're going to only go for about 20 minutes and we're already 10 minutes in. I'll try to address your questions. I'm going to do that rather than go over the weekly events, just for the sake of time, because I'm frankly exhausted after being at graduation this morning. So, okay. Chris Campbell says hello from Canada. Hello to Canada. Ozzy is here, late but here. Don Lewis says, Prof, what's up with firebombing Bakhmut? I can't wait for May 9th. Boom. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're using white phosphorus. And I read a little bit about white phosphorus. This was heartrending what I read about white phosphorus. And white phosphorus is used to create lights, but it also sticks to a person, burns to 800 degrees. I just read an article this morning again, so it's fresh in my memory. And like, you essentially burn to death and they can't get off you. It's like Agent Orange, something in that neighborhood. And the article that I was reading like months ago, when I was first trying to understand it, was like, the Ukrainian soldiers know, like, if you have a sidearm and you get that on you, end it, because it's just going to be such torture. And there was an account of someone, got it on him, blew his own brains out just to end the pain. It's just that kind of bad stuff. It is not outlawed, but it's not supposed to be used against humans. It's supposed to be used like for lighting things up, but that doesn't mean that Russia plays by those kind of rules. Okay, so that's that. Do we need to give Ukraine naval assets to sink Russian oil tankers? Well, they're like 4-0 with no navy. So they sunk the Moskva and 3 other vessels, and they have no navy to speak of. Instead of naval assets, give them longer range missiles, and they'll be a threat. Like, go back about half the year, and you'll see something about, I don't even remember what the name of that video was, but about sorry about that. And you'll see what that was. That it was about a half a year ago in the Black Sea, and yeah, they've done that in the Black Sea. Okay, Allison says, good to see you. Did you know that I had a whole new... Oh, sorry, my mute was on. At any rate, this was in the Black Sea. Another one says, I think Ukraine should lease the Crimea landmass to NATO for about 50 years. Yeah, we'll see how that all works out. Justin P says, do you think the drone was piloted? I can't tell. I have no idea. I can't tell you that, because there's just no way to be able to tell. I saw yesterday that the Wagner Group is leaving Bakhmut around May 10th. It seems like a total incompetence between the army, Kremlin, and themselves. Yes, totally incompetent. I don't know what else to tell you with that. Okay, I don't know what else to tell you. So with that, I will just end there. And when I do have something, I'll give you something. And I'm sorry to cut it short, but that's the best I can do. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you for caring about Ukraine.